Guys, we need to talk about click fraud because it's an issue that has been a thorn in the side of advertisers from the very beginning of the online advertising industry. It's the one area that could be solved with technology from these advertising platforms like Facebook ads and Google ads, but the one big problem advertisers face that they will never ever solve. Between 2018 and 2023, the expected cost to advertisers for click fraud is expected to increase from $35 billion to a massive $100 billion. So this is a massive, massive problem for advertisers. And it's a hidden problem because as an advertiser, you're going to look through your data and you're going to see things to optimize and see the results of a campaign and take it on face value. But what you don't know is how many of those clicks were completely useless in the first place. There are three major types of click fraud in the online advertising industry, and the first of the three is when somebody owns a website with advertising space. They obviously get paid when people click those adverts. Now, if you advertise on the display network on Google or any other display ad exchange, maybe programmatic advertising, your ads can potentially show on third-party websites. Now, if that third-party website owner wanted to make more money illegally and against the terms of service, then they would use the power of bots to repeatedly click the ads on their own website. Now, of course, as an advertiser, you would see that click come through the platform, say if it was on a Google display campaign, as normal traffic. But in reality, it's just a bot clicking your advert because the website owner of where your advert was showing to a user wants to make more money. That's the first type of fraud to be aware of. The second type of fraud is probably the biggest threat when it comes to platforms like Facebook ads, which are a kind of a closed exchange. You only see Facebook advertising on Facebook and its network itself. The second type of click fraud is probably a bit more common than the one I just mentioned, and that is when people create bots and crawlers to crawl the web. Maybe it's for tools, maybe it's for information, maybe people are just bad people, but ultimately, these tools will crawl different ad exchanges, potentially even Facebook ads, Google ads, just looking for data points. Could be a number of reasons, but ultimately there are tons of automated bot clicks on Google ads and on Facebook ads as well as a result of these automated crawlers. The last type of click fraud I want to mention is one that is probably the least frequent in the advertising world, but is most hyped up by these click fraud protection platforms, and that is when competitors click your ad. Yes, it can happen. Competitors can click your advert and it can happen sometimes. I've seen instances in the small business kind of local services space where it can happen with very low budgets, very kind of known competitors, and very heated, I guess, between small businesses where it gets really personal. That can happen and I have seen that, but the majority of the time your competitors are too busy running their business than to be clicking your adverts over and over and over again, so you run out of budget. And Google, give them credit, are better at detecting this type of fraud than the others I mentioned previously. So it's probably the least threatening type of fraud, but it does happen. Now, here are some stats that will shock you and make you second guess your advertising platform data. A report from Imperva found that 38% of all web traffic could be bots, which is absolutely massive and insane to think that nearly 38% of people aren't even people that could be going through the internet. It's just bots. As for PPC, however, 14% of clicks are thought to be bots and automated traffic and fraudulent clicks, which is, again, massive. It's not as big as the 38% I mentioned before for all web traffic, but imagine if 14 of 100 of your clicks that you're paying for are actually fraudulent. That is insane. And finally, a statistic from click fraud prevention software ClickCease says that of advertisers who spend $10,000 per month on advertising, they're expected to lose $14,000 to $15,000 per year to the cost of click fraud. Again, massive, massive numbers. So with all this said, where does this leave the advertising platforms themselves like Google ads and Facebook ads? Well, it's an obvious scenario, but I'm going to go through it anyway, and that is, if you're a business and it will cost you money to fix a problem, and by fixing the problem you're going to also cut your income, are you going to do it? The answer is more than likely, we'll probably leave that for next year. Then you roll it over for the next year and you just keep kicking the can down the road until eventually it just continues to grow and still become a problem for your users, but your revenues are still growing. So What's the big deal? Google and Facebook are under no pressure or incentive to fix this problem. They're not going to fix a problem that will cost them money to fix and also cut their income as well. Remember, 14% of all of their revenue on an annual basis isn't going to be given away. It's just not. So we can't rely on these platforms to fix this issue. So with that said, and everything continuing to get worse over time in relation to click fraud, especially when new platforms like TikTok are in their infancy and they will be nowhere near as ready to deal with bots as Facebook ads and Google ads. And of course, they'll have the same issue as well. They won't be incentivized to look for click fraud. So with the growth of all these areas of click fraud and these new platforms, I'm going to put this out there now, and I never normally say this, I advocate using click fraud prevention software. I'm not going to give any names of software. I think, all of them do very similar jobs. I've done an old video, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, talking about the softwares then. I might do another one reviewing them again in the future. But for now, my advice to you is simply this. You should be using click fraud prevention software if you're spending over £10,000 a month on digital advertising. It just makes sense and it gives you that layer of protection that these platforms are never going to give you in future. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, please leave a like below. Let me know in the comments if you are currently using click fraud prevention software or if you plan to. I reply to pretty much all comments on new videos, so hit me up down there and we can discuss. Like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the other content on the channel and I'll see you guys on the next one.